Breaking Muslims ready to riot. Trump huge 2018 plan leaked. Anti-Sharia legislation is spreading in state legislatures across America as President Donald Trump continues to enact policies to keep America safe again. Just since President Trump has taken office in 2017, there have been 23 new bills introduced in 18 different states, all with the common theme of attempting to prohibit the practice of Sharia law in U.S. courts. According to the Haas Institute at UC Berkeley, which claims to monitor what they have termed the anti-Sharia movement, these new bills bring the total number of legislative actions since 2010 to 217 total in 43 different states. Islam's spread into Western civilization is a recent and growing trend led by the likes of the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, CAR, Hezbollah, and other groups like them that endeavor to maximize the spread of Sharia law and Islam in the targeted societies while minimizing detection and pushback. This is achieved through the 5 phases of RICI: incubation, recognition, infiltration, confrontation, imposition. Many people believe America is currently in phase 3 in the spread of Sharia law, the infiltration stage, as the number of court cases in which civil law and Sharia law have clashed across the country. Many states are introducing bills in an effort to protect their citizens by passing legislation that bans state courts from accommodating Sharia law. Many of the bills have been stalled by the Muslim Brotherhood or other organizations accusing supporters of Islamophobia, along with lawsuits and campaigns against the re-election of anyone that introduces the bills. Yet other American institutions have allowed Sharia to advance unopposed. In matters such as an increasing number of American public schools are commemorating Muslim holidays, serving halal food, and holding Islamic prayers towards Mecca. In 2014, Rocky Mountain High School in Fort Collins, Colorado became the first American high school to recite the Pledge of Allegiance in Arabic, replacing One Nation Under God with One Nation Under Allah. Bill Clinton was the first U.S. president to hold a White House Eid al-Fitr dinner at the end of Ramadan, the Muslim month-long, dawn-to-dusk fast. Eid al-Fitr includes 6 takbirs, the raising of hands and shouting, Allahu Akbar, to declare that Allah is greater. Every U.S. president since Clinton, including George W. Bush, held this blasphemous dinner for a total of 20 years, 1996 to 2016. Until Donald Trump scrapped it in 2017. In 2000, the Republican National Convention became the first U.S. presidential convention to open with a Muslim prayer to Allah. In 2007, Quran for the first time was used to swear into office a new U.S. Congressman, Keith Ellison. In 2017, this former spokesman for Nation of Islam became the second highest leader of the Democratic National Committee (DNC). In 2009, a Christian U.S. soldier at Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan received Bibles in 2 local languages from his American church as planned. The U.S. Army confiscated those Bibles and, instead of at least returning them to his church, burned those Bibles. When Terry Jones, a pastor in Florida, announced his plan to burn a copy of the Quran in 2010, General David Petraeus, the commander of the U.S. military in Afghanistan, publicly objected to his plan, while U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton denounced his plan as disgraceful. In the landmark 2010 pro-Sharia ruling on SDV MJR, Judge Joseph Charles Jr. of New Jersey concluded that the Muslim ex-husband repeatedly had raped his Muslim ex-wife. After testimony from the Muslim man imam, the judge denied the ex-wife request for a permanent restraining order against her ex-husband, citing the Muslim man belief to attract and manage Muslim wealth. An increasing number of American financial institutions quietly began taking steps to become Sharia compliant. This includes donating a percentage of their annual profits to Islamic groups that are designated by their Sharia compliance advisors, many of whom belong to the Muslim Brotherhood, and funnel funds to jihadi groups. The donations must go to one or more of 8 recipient categories, one of which is jihad, including Hamas and Hezbollah. Some legal experts claim the bills are superfluous, citing the U.S. Constitution as the supreme law of the land where any and all foreign laws are considered subservient to it. Yet, as evidenced by the growing list above, that is clearly not actual practice. Yet others claim the purpose of the bills is simply to spread fear about Muslims living in America and to portray them as untrustworthy, thus subjecting Muslims to surveillance and other forms of exclusion and discrimination. Of the 23 bills introduced in state legislatures in 2017, only 2 became law, one in the state of Arkansas and the other in Texas. Another 4 states have added their numbers to the growing list of those trying to prevent the growing threat and spread of this horror: Colorado, Connecticut, North Dakota and Wisconsin. Since 2010, a network steadily working together in an effort to help states work towards maintaining their sovereignty over Sharia law, led by attorney David Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi has composed draft legislation called the American Laws for American Courts, or ALAC, which has been the template for roughly 140 of the bills introduced. Anti-American, pro-globalist, and anti-Trump supporters claim the laws are simply an effort to further marginalize and ostracize the Muslim community. Republicans are playing to their base, particularly in smaller rural white towns, and Trump has made Islamophobia normal, mainstream, at least according to Nikia Natali, legal director of the Dallas-Fort Worth chapter of CAIR, a known terrorist group supporter. El-Sadiq El-Sheikh, director of the Global Justice Program at the Haas Institute, states there has been a healthy mobilization of the Muslim community, who are becoming more engaged and less apologetic, especially second-generation Muslims. They are more determined to demand their rights, as evidenced by the continued increase in terror attacks on American soil, as well as repeated appeasement in American courts by judges with black robe fever, intent on legislating from the bench rather than doing the job which they were elected to do. Now is the time to be vigilant, America. Otherwise, the fates currently being suffered by Sweden, the UK and others across Europe will be our own.